We have a lot to cover today, but before we go ahead and get into that, I just want to take a moment here and let you all know that I have another channel just simply titled Sticks. I have genuinely been having more fun than I have ever had in my entire history on YouTube creating and posting videos over on that channel. So if you guys like what you see over there, then I urge you to go ahead and join me. Only if you're interested though. We also have a Patreon set up now, allowing you to directly support us if you're interested. Every patron will have their name appear at the beginning of every single YouTube video, and you'll be immortalized in the MMO genre forever. One more thing, we are going to be streaming a brand new MMORPG that just launched yesterday over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MMOByte. I urge you guys to come on over, check the game out, join us here, take a look and see if the game is worth playing. We're gonna be streaming it for a couple hours at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is approximately 2 hours after this video goes live, and we'd love to have you come on over and accompany us through it. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead here and talk MMO news. Dragon Raja has been around for 2 years now, 2 whole years. And while the game might not be nearly as successful now as it once was, ArcheAge Games are celebrating their anniversary with players, new avatars, advanced gems, limited edition cosmetic items, and this is only the beginning. ArcheAge have confirmed a surplus of new events planned, not only in the immediate future, but also coming over the course of the year, including a new gardening system and new classes for players to level. I still cannot believe that it has been 2 years. I remember covering this game when it came out. Man, how time flies, right? Swords of Legends Online is now free to play. Yes, after spending the last 8 months as a premium title, the game is now officially free. The update that came along with the transition in business model is simply titled 2.0, the Firestone Legacy, and it brings with it a plethora of additions to the game. The new Fox Mage class, the Crystal Warrior class, the Spirit Warrior class, the new Little Girl body type, which is something that we really do not need to see in our MMOs, the option of playing dress up with and further pandering to people that are into that specific age bracket. Just, oh, no thank you, that's disgusting. An extension to the story though, entirely new zones, new dungeons, new raids, and there is more planned for the future. If people actually played the game though, right? After going free to play, it did see a boost of 2,000 concurrent players, which is bad. It's really bad. And I understand that there are also some people that play the game via the Gameforge launcher, but this is still very bad, and it is going to likely be the reason that solo shuts down probably less than a year after being online. Aether Gazer is a brand new upcoming anime RPG, one that I'm incredibly excited for, and they just revealed recently that they have entered pre-registration. You know what that means? You can register for the game and the beta test before anyone else. I have a link to the pre-registration for those of you that are interested in playing it. I will make sure to include that link down in the description and the pinned comment below for those of you that are interested in signing up and maybe having the opportunity to participate. The Wagadu Chronicles is a game that I don't really hear anything about, really. Yet, towards the end of February, they held an Alpha 1 test that allowed certain players to get into and try the game for the very first time. Players could fully create their character, they could actually engage in combat, they could build their character with a functional skill system. There was full party play, there were guilds and PvP. While I did not get to participate in the alpha test myself, as I'm not a backer for the game, it is always good to see MMOs making progress, which I feel is more than you can say about most indie MMOs. I bet this is something that you never anticipated seeing, right? Soul of the Ultimate Nation, a game that launched back in 2007 and shut down in like roughly 2012, I think, launched back on the 10th, just yesterday, as of recording this video, as Sun Classic, triggering a wave of nostalgic fans returning to the game en masse. This was an incredibly fun MMO back when it was relevant, and given WebZen is releasing it in a classic form, has sparked new interest, as most classic MMO releases do. The game is accessible around the globe without IP restrictions from what I can tell, and is playable right now. If you've never played Sun, this might be the perfect opportunity for you to. This is an experience that, while dated, you might not want to miss. Code Mirage is a brand new upcoming anime RPG with honestly some of the greatest action combat and absolutely incredible looking character models that I've seen for a game of its type. Much like Aether Gazer, it also entered pre-registration, meaning that you can apply to play the game right now. And while it isn't currently playable, it will be in the very near future. And if you get chosen as a beta tester, then, well, you'll have an incredible looking new anime RPG to play before it launches, which, I don't know, that sounds pretty sick to me. And like Aether Gazer, I will make sure to include the pre-registration link down in the description in the pinned comment below. I know many fans of WoW are, well, a little bit disappointed, especially after seeing the conclusion of 9.2 with the Jailer and Anduin. But spoilers aside, even I, an avid fan of WoW, who found enjoyment even in parts of Battle for Azeroth, was severely let down by what I saw online concerning the conclusion of an epic chapter of my life. Regardless of this, Blizz actually announced that not only are they ready to reveal a brand new Warcraft game, but they are also planning on showcasing their next expansion on April 19th. Yeah, that is literally just next month. They have other news worth noting as well, like Hearthstone's expansion on March 15th, but I don't know, I don't think I'd ever really played Hearthstone, nor am I interested in it, and I also don't really think that it relates to this channel. I've covered Into the Echo once, I think, in the past, because, well, I mean, honestly, that was the single time that they revealed anything about it. And as it turns out, today the pre-alpha test is taking place. It begins on March 12th and will last until tomorrow, March 13th. I believe there's still the opportunity to apply and potentially get into the test phase, as the developers did state that they are aiming for, quote unquote, at least 1,000 players for this test. However, looking at the announcement that was made over on Twitter, it received 8 likes, so it is unlikely that many people were even really reached. But you know what? That's good news for us, as we can still likely get our key and play before it's over. You can sign up via either their website or their Discord. After repeated alpha tests over the last year, it seems as though Mad World might be approaching a more complete form, as they have begun to sell Founders Packs for players ranging from $10 to over $500. Yeah, $520 Founders Packs in specific, because people want to pay $500 to play a browser game. As much as I think Mad World will definitely appeal to a certain niche of players, $500 seems, I don't know, a little bit inane to me, right? I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm not the only one that thinks this. I don't know. When I see developers providing ridiculous numbers like that, I feel like they're a little bit desperate for funds, which makes complete sense. They are a small budget indie MMO after all. I just feel like this is a little early to be trying to milk your players, you know? And I know some of you are gonna hate on me for giving my opinion on that, but someone needs to voice these concerns, right? It may as well be me. The North American version of Aion, not Gameforge's European version, released its 8.1 update recently, bringing with it new content for players. And I gotta say, while I have not played Aion actively since like 3.0 or 4.0, I forget which really, they have been very reliable with updates. Every several months, we have new things to do. We've had various classes introduced over the last few years, and while the updates between main patches are typically on the smaller sides of things, they're more than most other MMOs get. 8.1 specifically brings alterations to Esperanza, new missions and rewards, changes to skills, adjustments to monsters, dungeons, NPCs, and altered rewards from the Fortress Siege. Now this is important right here. After years of waiting, ArenaNet finally graced players with a brand new expansion, End of Dragons, and players were ecstatic. Player numbers soared, new and old, with everyone scurrying into Kanta and everything the expansion had to offer. End of Dragons introduces 4 new maps, new characters specifically for that region, the epic siege turtle mount, new elite specs, a new guild hall, and so much more. This is something that 2 friends of mine, Sage and Andrew, have been waiting their whole lives for. And You know what? I can't blame them. Well, I can blame Sage, but I can't blame Andrew. Despite the bugs that have been present, End of Dragon seems to have had a successful launch, with ArenaNet cleaning things up and players enjoying what they've played. I haven't had the opportunity to jump into and play through it yet myself, but you know what? It's not like it's going anywhere. Okay, I know that this is not an MMO, and I know that this isn't necessarily an anime RPG either, but my god, I have to include this here because of how hyped for it I am, and the fact that pre-registration for a global release is currently open. Legit, this is not only one of the most anticipated games of 2022, but it also has the genius that did the character models for Blade and Soul for Destiny Child, the game, not the the band with Beyonce and Magna Carta, like Aether Gazer and Code Mirage. I will make sure to include the pre-registration link down in the description of the pinned comment below. Now, if you want to know more about the game, I literally did a video on this yesterday. Actually, I've done a video on Code Mirage, I've done a video on Aether Gazer, and I've done a video on this as well. I guess I could go ahead here and include a link to all of those in the description too. I don't know, there's gonna be a lot of links down there. I officially covered this in much greater detail in a video earlier this week, but Kakao is being accused of stealing from players after they screwed up a conversion of currency recently. This gave every single player a surplus of currency that they could use in-game, which they later removed after they learned that they'd made a mistake. Why they're being accused of stealing though is because this also affected players that bought that currency with real-life money. So, players potentially lost all of the currency that they had purchased with real money over a period of time, which is absolutely ridiculous. If you want to learn more, I urge you to go ahead and check out my dedicated video on that as well. It is unreal how poorly they have handled things. Lost Ark recently crossed the 20 million player threshold. Yeah, 20 million players in just a few weeks, averaging anywhere from 600,000 to 1 million concurrent active players at any time of the day since releasing, and Amazon revealed their plans for updates over the course of March. We get new story episodes, the new Abyss raids the ArcheAge Grand Prix, the competitive Season 1 of the Proving Grounds, new skins finally, which Mrs. Stix has admittedly went ahead and purchased all of, new login bonuses, and more. Most notably though, is that they banned some bots. And yeah, wow, they banned some bots. Whoa, that's incredible. But they banned over an entire million of them, to be exact. Additionally, they rolled out a small little patch that makes it much more difficult for bots to accumulate gold in-game. And this is important here, saw an average concurrency drop of over 200,000 players, which means that at least 20%, if not more, of concurrent players over the last few weeks were bots. An alarming number to be sure, but nothing that none of us didn't already expect. While the numbers are definitely lower now, and will likely remain as such, the game is still in a much better state, a much better place without them. Despite players claiming, New World is dead, the game is far from it, averaging 30,000 concurrent players during the day, and their latest update, the Heart of Madness, is further proof of that. The update concludes the story of Isabella, with players pursuing Isabella back to the Shattered Mountain, where you'll enter the level 65 player Tempest Heart expedition. There's the introduction of the new blunderbuss weapon, balance changes, new encounters out in the world, and a swath of different bug fixes. And finally, in Tower of Fantasy news, the Tower of Fantasy English Twitter and the Tower of Fantasy Japanese Twitter accounts have both been officially verified, with the Japanese Twitter confirming that the game will be releasing onto consoles in the near future, along with both PC and mobile devices, and the English Twitter further confirming that the game is releasing globally. I covered this in a dedicated video as well if you want specifics, but suffice it to say, it's about time. It's finally happening, and I cannot wait to get into and experience everything fully translated. Tower of Fantasy has had its fair share of drama since releasing in China, but hopefully they have learned from their mistakes and the global release of the game is handled appropriately. And that is it. That is every bit of MMO related news that mattered to me today. Now, if you were looking for something new to play, then you know what? I got you covered. Go ahead and click this video right here. Try playing that.